after the riveting show they put on last night, what will WWE do to top it? What will they do to build on it? And I'll tell you what they'll do right now. First off, they start off with John Cena. And he's in the ring and he's talking about how good he's doing. I gotta turn off the TV, I'm watching it too much. It's about how good he's doing, how good the elbow feels, how great it feels to be back and be the new champion. And then Damien Sandow comes out and beats him up. And John Cena, aka Super Cena, aka the man behind the plan, comes up and says, "Give me your best shot. Give me your finisher. I will hit mine on you with a bad elbow. I don't care if I have a bad elbow. I'm still a better wrestler than you. So take that, Damien Sandow, and all you Damien Sandow fans out there." The briefcase was cashed in. The briefcase was lost, no longer valid. Probably because when Sandow won, it was to be a long end game with Cody Rhodes. And then they actually hit gold on the Cody Rhodes and Goldust tag team. So, he had the hot route plans. And instead of having somebody else go after the briefcase, and instead of having Sandow cash and be the champion, they just had him lose it. Which, if you know how I feel about Damien Sandow, probably the right decision. This is a guy who didn't really get a rally reaction when he won it and continued going forward. Maybe he would have, but it probably wouldn't have been a good title reign. Especially because Money in the Bank title reigns don't work out that good. But it happens. I enjoyed the match. The crowd was going hype for it. It was solid. After that match, they followed up with another match between Big E and Dolph Ziggler. Started off kind of slow, and then the Shield ended up beating up Big E. The Usos came out, 6-man tag, 3-on-3. Roman Reigns spears both Usos and pins the one that was the legal man at the end of that match. And they cut a promo, the Shield did before the match, that kind of planted the seeds that there was a little bit of dissension inside Shield land. And maybe Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are going to turn. Or maybe because Reigns is always winning and Ambrose is always winning, they're going to get rid of Rollins and let him get that face run, let him get that run. Either way, it's weird to talk about breaking them up like that because that's an unknown and they're a very known commodity doing great right now. Big E's also doing great right now, and people were really pumped about that yesterday and today. But when you have guys that are as talented as them, they'll sink or swim no matter where they go because that's just how Seth Rollins wrestles. That's how Dean Ambrose wrestles, and that's how Roman Reigns wrestles, who has been the biggest surprise of the Shield because you knew nothing about him from the jump, and he wasn't that compelling of a wrestler beforehand when the other two guys had quite the reputation, and he's been doing really well, so maybe they have another star in him, and maybe they were right on him. Let's hope so. And that carries through almost the first hour of the show. Our main event, Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan end up in the ring together, and Shawn Michaels is like, "It's this business, Daniel. Got to apologize. I got to shake my hand, accept my apology. Feel like I even did all this much for you. Don't trust anybody, even that girlfriend, wife of yours." And then at the end, he starts going full heel, and he's just like, "Don't you dare disrespect me. I stood up for you when they said you were a B+ guy. I am an A+ guy." And then Daniel Bryan makes him tap out. And then Daniel Bryan's character did not say a single word, but all of a sudden he's serious again. And all of a sudden he seems credible. And then after that, he goes backstage and gets beat up by the Wyatt family. And the way they beat him up was pretty awesome. The storyline itself, let's see where it's going because there's more to come with the Wyatts. And it's a good way to get Daniel Bryan out of the building. But, man, the hair looks ridiculous now for him and for me. Maybe I should cut my hair. Maybe he should cut his hair. I don't know, but looking back at old Bryan Danielson, if he were to go straight, boom, short hair with that big old beard, he would look mean. He would mess people up, and it would be awesome, but you can't have everything you want. If this feud ends up being him versus Shawn Michaels, I don't know how I'm going to respond to that because that's going to be about as good of a match as it gets. Take that, everyone. And it's weird because Shawn Michaels' retirement was so perfect. You don't want him to come out of it. unless it's for something like this. So I'm cool with this. Let me know how you guys are cool with this. That'd be one of the first questions you guys can answer down there. You guys can basically type in anything at any point. Also, if you haven't, there should be a subscribe thing up here. I'm going to put it up for the entire thing. So at the start, but subscribe for more of this, because if this happens and you don't remember the guy who was like calling it first, it was Titan22 on Twitter. Second guy was me. From what I saw, obviously a lot of people probably called it more, but that match might happen at the Rumble, Survivor Series. Slow burn to the Rumble would be tough, especially nowadays. But if they roll that out Survivor Series, that would steal the show. If Shawn Michaels can still go, for that I do not know. Next up, though, was Los Matadores against 3MB. Los Matadores won. There's not a lot going on there. They're not going anywhere. Not getting Olympic reaction. Torito's getting a good, nice reaction. But we'll see what they do with that. And in honor of Marvelous Mark, I'm going to call this next match the way he would. Next up in the Diva segment, you had AJ and Tamina against the Bella Sluts. And the Bella Sluts did not get the win. It was AJ and Tamina. AJ got a nice reaction. She's skipping around, and I don't know if her character's a heel or a face, but either way, I think it's solid. And that was my Marvelous Mark impression, because he's a little bit older than I am, so I have to use the older voice. But he is a smart man, because I agree with everything Marvelous Mark impression just said right there. What about AJ going forward makes me think that they have a mega star here. Like, I'm not talking mega diva star, I'm talking about she could be huge. Because she's not even doing anything, like storyline wise, or not really getting a push. She's just kind of being there. But she's taking off. Like exploding. No matter what she does, she's going against heel, face, doesn't matter. No matter who she's going against, she's getting this big reaction. People are talking about it. And people, when they see an AJ match, are more pumped to see the next one. And I am pumped to see the next one. Tamina, is this saving her career? Because she was always solid, but it never made sense why she wasn't great. Like, I don't know, she felt cartoony in a real world then, you know? She was in like the Superfly Jimmy Snuka gear, and now she's just a big old bad chick throwing people around. I say big old because she's tall. But that was how I feel about it. AJ's a megastar, though. You heard that here first. Subscribe again if you haven't subscribed to hear me when AJ's a megastar. Tell you all about how I called it right here on October 28th on my Raw review. I'll probably forget. You guys will probably remember. But that's why you should subscribe. And if you already subscribed, thank you for subscribing. And I don't know why I'm saying subscribe so much. I'm trying to drop that Freudian thing. Speaking of subscribe to WWE Magazine. Neither of these people were mentioned in it. Well, they probably were. But Kane came back last night, fought The Miz. Kane picked up the win, but in typical Kane fashion, does a ridiculous heel turn, calls out Stephanie McMahon, and says he's hers to unleash. Takes off his mask and leaves it there with her. Which, when you get to the end of the show, doesn't make sense at all that he would do that and not follow through, but I don't know what he's doing. It's cool, though. Kane's he's a solid guy, and with some direction, he's not going to be bad. So you can put that aside, because really the Rise Above Hate thing was really one of the worst things I've ever seen. Other than that, Kane's been pretty solid. He can go either way. Speaking of go, CM Punk versus Ryback in a street fight, and CM Punk picks up that win. Hopefully this means the Ryback feud is over with. I hope so, because he beat him clean. He put him through a table. That's usually the end of it. He beat Heyman. Now he's just finishing off with Ryback. But then the Wyatts come out and attack CM Punk. So my mind starts going off, and I'm thinking to myself, the Wyatt families took out CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Are they going to fight CM Punk and Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series? Think about that for a second. All of you guys who were complaining about the Wyatt not having any direction and fighting against people who don't matter. Think about that. I'm pumped about it. I mean, I wish there was 5 CM Punk and Daniel Bryan so they could always do stuff like this. But, I mean, if they're not going to let either of them shine in the main event, let them go out there as a tag team mega power indie marks. Punk got the biggest reaction of the night for anybody, heel or face. One, they came out originally not for a storyline thing, as you see near the end. But Punk, even through all of this, is still the man. Look at what's next. Next up, we had a tag match between the Real Americans and Goldust and Cody Rhodes. And Goldust tapped out to the Patriot Lock by Jack Swagger, meaning that's the next number one contenders. That'll be what goes on. So they'll have the match here. Next week they'll challenge them. Then we'll go. Cody Rhodes against. Hopefully, it's Cody Rhodes against Antonio Cesaro, and then Goldust against Jack Swagger. And then that last week we'll have everything tied together for their Survivor Series thing. And I just booked it. And the Rhodes family is solid, great, awesome. And there's no me going with some backside compliment here, like, but maybe they didn't do this. They're good, and they're about as good as it gets right now. And they're carrying the tag belts. And the tag division is coming back. Hopefully it's coming back to stay, and it's not going through cycles, which I'm afraid. I'm afraid that it's all going through cycles. Sorry. Because they loaded up the tag division with a lot of their young guns who are really out there to prove stuff, which is awesome. Until they've been in it for a while, and then all of a sudden it's time for them to branch off, and then they're carrying the other parts of the show, and they're carrying the mid-card title feuds, and they're up in the main event. Then what? Then you have to put new young guys in there. But WWE never lets anyone ever go once they get past a certain age, as evidenced by Alberto Del Rio coming out to No Pop and saying it's not over with him and John Cena. I don't care. No one in attendance cared. Whatever. The second Divas match of the night was afterwards, and that got more of a reaction. Even then, it was a little bit too one-sided for my taste, with Summer Rae putting in a little bit too much offense and not really giving anyone any chance to really believe in Natalya. Maybe because they didn't care and there was no clapping comebacks or anything like that. But there was not. Just looked like Summer Rae just beat her up, which, not the worst thing in the world. I'm nitpicking about a Divas match, which is something I never thought I would do. But here we are, 2013, near the end of it. And this match was one of the better matches on the card. And Summer Rae is a fantastic heel. Like, I ended up sitting here going, ooh, kill him. Ooh, because no matter what was going down, she was just beating people up. She was just yelling at people. She was grabbing them by their faces, using those long legs to attack people. And it's something you don't see, because she is a ruthless aggression diva. And then we get to the main event of the show. How do you follow that up? Randy Orton comes out to the people sitting on their hands as this is the ultimate sign of respect. Just silence. Everyone knows the ultimate sign of respect in wrestling. And that's his ceremonial thing. And before it even happens, the Big Show comes out. We find out that earlier in the show that the Big Show he's going to sue them. He's going to sue the company. And I'm probably going to go off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I feel bad for Randy Orton. I'm going to throw it out there right now. It's not even me feeling bad for Daniel Bryan anymore. That's gone. He'll be fine. But Randy Orton puts together some of the best work from May. Actually, I'll even say from Mania until SummerSlam. What he did, he knocked it out of the park. He proved that he's ready to run with stuff. He proved he could main event shows and get a high draw. He proved he could go heel face. He proved people would care about him if they did all this. And yet here he is, laid out at the end of another show, while the Big Show and Triple H stare each other down. He is your WWE champion, and he is absolutely discarded. And I'm not a Randy Orton apologist. I'm not a Randy Orton mark by any means. I've been very fair with my assessments of the guys, even when people have been up and down and calling them the best and calling them the worst. Like, you want to talk about guys who are B+ or higher? In today's WWE, you need guys who are getting B+ or higher on pretty much everything they do. He's a 5-tool guy. He's the legacy guy. He does everything you want somebody to do. But nobody's going to care if you guys don't care. Nobody's going to care if every segment he's in, he's the third player. Think about this for a second. Think about what movies or plays that no one watches Wayne's World and their favorite character is if you're going to spew into this guy, the guy who gets all Phil. You're partied out again. No one. Before I said that, and I talked about Wayne's World, no one Phil didn't pop into anyone's mind because he doesn't really have any moments to where he could do it. Also, creepy guy at the diner. No one pops in that mind either, even though he has a couple nice moments. It's Wayne's World. It's Triple H's world. Garth, Benjamin. He's the evil guy. Bitch, that might be Triple H. Who knows? Who cares? Either way, if you don't make somebody important in their segments, and if you don't have them ever stand triumphant or leave that to be a lasting image in someone's mind, they're not going to care, point blank and simple, no matter how good they are. And that's exactly what they know, and that's exactly why Randy Orton's laid out there. They don't want him to be the guy. No, he's got 2 strikes. He's been a locker room cancer before. He's a guy who, when TNA folds, they would have no problem letting go because they don't think he can draw. Because, oh wait, they wouldn't actually have given him the ball to run with it. He has hit it out of the park and has done great work that is still revered today. They talk about the Viper Randy Orton and when he pumped people in their faces with reverence today. People don't talk about that being good. They talk about that being great. And yet, here we are with an opportunity for somebody to go and be the next heel or face, and it's not him. And it's like, okay, well, it's not him. It's not Daniel Bryan, who anywhere and everywhere he's been, where he's been asked to be the top guy, he took it to the next level. Ring of Honor would be nothing without him. You say that, oh yeah, right. No, he was one of their founding guys. He laid out the bricks. And when they were going through all their stuff with, I did my research, he did that stuff with the Sinclair TV and all that stuff was going down. Or actually, no, it was HDNet. He was the guy who carried them forward. And when he left, the reason why everyone cares is because he was their guy. And the reason why everyone cared when he got there is because he was their guy. And that is better than being just a face or just a champion. When they follow you somewhere else, you've done your job. It's that simple. I could go on for maybe 10 more minutes. I don't want to. Subscribe to see me go off later. Look out for tomorrow when our Eastern and Western Conference previews come out. We told you we're spreading our wings. Streets are waiting. Justin and I filmed it all day. And we also filmed an NFL recap preview show. Halfway mid-season, what we think about things, that's going to come up on Thursday or so. Let us know what you think about them. Like this video if you have not yet and you're still watching. Subscribe, obviously, because you want to watch more of us because we're great. Leave a comment with your opinion on stuff, and I'll do my best to get back at you. I've been doing better at that. I haven't been. Sorry this video took 5 minutes finishing off at the end, but at the same time I'm not sorry because it needed to be said, because why is the same stuff happening? You could have took out the last 8 weeks of wrestling, 10 weeks of wrestling, 6 weeks of wrestling, however long it was between SummerSlam and today's show, and and then just replace Triple H and Daniel Bryan in the first segment, and people would have been like, okay, cool. But anyway, besides the whole Rhodes thing, that was cool it happened, but like I said in the main event stuff, either way, sorry, I'm going to keep talking unless I go. Take care, guys.